So before we do the prayers, we can take, some time just to calm our mind, to bring it back to the present moment. So we take a posture that we are comfortable in. It can be on the floor or on a chair. And we just we become aware of our body, of the weight of our body. And if we notice any tension, we try to release any tension. We can do it by breathing out where there is any tension in the body, just to relax when we let out the air. You can imagine we are um, lying down um, on the grass or on a beach, and we just look at the sky. And the sky is completely vast, completely open, completely pure. And the sky is full of light, very clear, luminous. And we let our mind completely rest in this open space. And from this blue sky, Buddha Shakyamuni appears in front of us. His body is like, it's not solid, it's like a rainbow body. And the Buddha is smiling at us, very happy to see us gather today. And we generate faith and trust in the Buddha, in his qualities, in his teachings. And we feel that if we rely on his teachings, we'll be able to find true happiness, and we will be able to help other the other persons, animals, all beings that we are connected with. We will be able to help them as well to find true happiness. So we try to make our mind as vast as possible by generating universal motivation, bodhicitta motivation, so that our time together, it can be of benefit for all beings. That by the time we spend together, we create the cause for each one of us to become ourselves a Buddha. Why? Because when we will be a Buddha, we will be able to help perfectly all the beings that are connected to us, that have a karmic connection to us. So with this motivation, I can recite the prayer of refuge in Bodhichitta. When we say the prayer, we imagine from the Buddha in front of us, light, like the Buddha is the sun, and we receive lights, ray of light from the Buddha, and this light is purifying all the obstacles we have in our mind to fully understand these teachings. And the rays of light that bring us all the blessings of the Buddha, so we can realize his teachings in our heart. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merits I create through listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. Sangye Chödong Soki Tsoknam Zhongchu Badu Dani Kem Suji Daki Chenyen Gepe Tsoknam Ki Dola Penchi Sangye Jumpa Shu Sangye Chödong Soki Tsoknam Zhongchu Badu Dani Kem Suji Daki Chenyen Gepe Tsoknam Ki Dola Penshi Sangye Drompa Sho. Right. Thank you. So, in the previous Sundays, to quickly review what we saw together, we started by, looking at happiness and the fact that every body, every sentient being want to be happy and want to avoid suffering. So we looked at happiness and the difference between samsaric happiness and dharma happiness. And we saw that there is no real happiness in samsara. Samsara is in the nature of suffering. The happiness we get in samsara is not doesn't last. We cannot rely on it to bring us satisfaction. But there is another kind of happiness. It's the happiness that comes from practicing Dharma. And this happiness, it only increases and it brings us real satisfaction And now we have all the good conditions to practice Dharma. We have a precious human life, like our sense faculties are working well. We can hear, we can see, we can communicate with others. We can use our intelligence to reflect, to receive teachings, to read books, to analyze. So we have really perfect conditions to practice Dharma. We have met, teachers, Dharma center, other people willing to help us to study, friends that share the same interest. We have these perfect conditions to now practice Dharma. And what makes this life so precious, it's the fact that it's not going to last. It can stop at any time, and we don't know where we will be tomorrow. We don't know if we will wake up from sleep tomorrow morning. Perhaps when we wake up, we'll be in the bardo, in the state between death and another life. And if we die tonight, we don't know where we will be reborn. We don't know if we'll have the same conditions as we have now. So this life is so precious. So we want to take really the essence of this life. We want to make each day meaningful. So how to do that? So we looked at last Sunday at our motivation. Why is our motivation so important? And we saw that we can make each day very meaningful by, in the morning, generating a very positive motivation. And we looked as well into the law of cause and effect, karma. Because karma means, actually what it means is that we have the power. We have the power to change our life and to decide what our future will be. If we don't like our present, then we can choose to create different kind of actions so our future will be better. So really we are the creator of what is happening in our life and what will happen in the future. So, so the motivation we generate every morning is going to be like a drop of colorants, very beautiful color we choose to put in our mind stream, and it will stay with us during the day, and it will bring this beautiful color to each moment of the day. So that's why it's very important to, as much as we can, to generate a positive motivation in the morning. So, and last week we didn't have time to actually do the morning motivation together. So we can do that today. So in the book, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, Bodhisattva Attitude, there are, I think, 5 motivations. Check. Yes, we have 5 morning motivations that we can use. So we can choose a new one every morning, or we can like choose one and stay on it each morning for 1 week. So I'm going to read one of these motivations, the first one in the book, and it's called "Everything Depends on Your Attitude." So it's something that we do as a meditation. We don't just read the words, but we try to reflect on the meaning and to let the words touch our hearts, actually, to make it one with our heart. So I'm going to read the motivation, and you can, do like it's a motivation, like it's a meditation. So, and it's from Lama Zopa Rinpoche, these words. So we think as follows. My life has been most fortunate. First of all, I have heard the heart of the Buddha Dharma, the very essence of the teaching of the Buddha, the very precious teachings on the Lamrim, many times. I have even heard from His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who is the real living Chenrezig. Just that alone is most amazing. It is the most unbelievable, rare, fortunate, and precious thing that could have happened to me in this life. So if I look at what has happened to me so far in this life, it is most amazing. But of course, this incredible opportunity will not last long. It is just like lightning on a very dark night that for a short time reveals everything clearly and is then gone. Life is not long, and I can't tell when death will come. There are many conditions for death, like the different types of disease and so on. There is cancer. I hear all the time about this and that friend or family member suddenly getting cancer. But how can I tell that sooner or later other people won't hear my own name with the word cancer next to it and has in between? This happens to so many people in the world. Already, many older students who have been studying Dharma for some time have passed away. I may be next. I cannot always live my life with the concept of permanence. Life is very short, and even things that are supposed to support life can become the condition for death, like medicines having side effects that lead to death, or people dying when their house collapses or while eating food. Life is short and there is not much time left. Therefore, it is extremely important to meditate on the Lamrim. The great enlightened being, Pakumpa Detchen mentioned in his teachings that it is more meaningful to spend our life meditating on Lamrim, the three principal aspects of the path, than to recite many hundreds of millions of Om Mani Padme Hum or other mantras. He also said that it is more meaningful to spend our life meditating on the Lamrim than even seeing the Buddha. In order to be enlightened, I need to achieve all the realizations on the path, and that doesn't happen in 1 second by just seeing Buddha. Of course, by seeing the Buddha, I would receive many blessings, but no realization. Lama Tsongkhapa mentioned in his mind training poem, if you don't purify negative karma and defilements quicker and quicker, being totally under the control of very forceful karma, even though you know this is happiness, that is happiness, you are powerless to choose. Even though you know this is suffering, that is suffering, you are powerless to free yourself. Therefore, reflect that action and results are non-betraying. Look now to choose between white and black karma. From this day, take care not to create negative karma. From this night, attend to virtue. What better can you do with this life than take care not to create negative karma, but instead create virtue all the time? White and black actions depend on good and bad thoughts. If you have good thoughts, even the path and grounds are good. If you have bad thoughts, even the path and grounds are bad. Everything depends on your attitude. Because I am under the control of very hard, forceful, powerful karma, if I don't purify all this as quickly as possible, even though I know what is happiness and what is suffering, I am not free to choose. Somehow, I just have to go through sicknesses, relationship problems, business problems, and so on, more or less to immediately free myself from them. Once an action is done, karma is created. If the action is non-virtuous, the result will definitely be suffering. If the action is virtuous, the result will definitely be happiness. These results will definitely come. Therefore, I need to reflect on this and then take care not to create negative karma, but instead create virtue all the time. Lama Tsongkhapa is saying that everything depends on the mind. Everything depends on my attitude. That is something great to learn, or everything depends on my mind. For example, if I have a bodhicitta motivation, a good heart benefiting other sentient beings, I can actualize the realizations of the Mahayana path, the 5 paths, and the 10 grounds. If I don't have a good heart, even if I have renunciation and the realization of emptiness, I can only enter the lesser vehicle path, and the highest I can achieve is the lower nirvana. I cannot become a bodhisattva and collect skies of merit in every second with every single action of body, speech, and mind, as well as purifying all the heavy negative karmas collected in this and past lives. Without bodhicitta, I cannot achieve enlightenment and do perfect work without the slightest mistake for sentient beings, liberating every one of them from the oceans of samsaric suffering and bringing them to enlightenment. The self-cherishing thoughts makes my attitude bad. That is why, so far, because of following self-cherishing from beginningless rebirth up to now, instead of practicing bodhicitta and benefiting others, I have not been able to achieve the very first realization of impermanence and death, which makes the mind become Dharma, or any other realizations. My today's self-cherishing thought doesn't allow my actions right now to become a cause of enlightenment, liberation from samsara, or happiness of future life. It creates so many obstacles, even for the happiness of this life, and makes things very difficult. Self-cherishing gives rise to attachment to this life, anger, and all the other delusions. All obstacles come from the self-cherishing thought. Since everything comes from your attitude, make the decision to start each day and live your life with bodhicitta. So this is an example of one of the 5 morning motivation that Rinpoche gave us. So the idea is to start each day with one of these motivation. Of course, we can do a shorter motivation. It depends on what our mind needs. And in this motivation, so Rinpoche at the beginning, he talked about having received teachings from His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and to have met many great teachers and so on. So of course, it's but for some of you, perhaps you haven't met His Holiness. But the point is, we can receive teaching from His Holiness online, and perhaps one day you can have the opportunity to receive direct teachings. In any way, you have opportunities to get teachings from a lot of great teachers at your center and so on. So the idea is to adapt the motivation so it works for you, for your own situation. So and then, so the morning we start with one of these motivation. Or once we are, we know this motivation quite well. We don't have to follow a text. We can just reflect by ourselves to generate our motivation. And after we can do so the practice that I've mentioned last week, the method. And in this practice, we have different prayers. There is a lumbering prayer and different mantras that we can do to bless our speech, to bless our body. And as well in this practice, so there are verses written by Shantideva. So what we can do now is just know these verses from Shantideva that we can recite together. So actually, it's if you have Rinpoche's book, or if you have an ebook and PDF, it's on page 25. It's called Bodhisattva Attitude, the verses. So and it's a prayer that actually is coming from Shantideva, the Bodhisattva Charyavatara, in different parts of the text. And Rinpoche kind of retranslated it to put even more emphasis on bodhicitta. So if you can share the screen so we can recite it together. Yeah, thank you. I shall give away, so we can do it all together if you're comfortable with it. I shall give away fully, with no sense of loss, my body, enjoyments, and all merits of the 3 times, past, present, and future, to accomplish the work for all sentient beings. By giving away all, I will be liberated from the oceans of samsaric suffering, and my mind will achieve a sorrowless state. Since I have to leave everything at death, it is best to now give it away to every single sentient being. Having given this body, to sentient beings to use however they want that makes them happy, whether they always kill, criticize, beat me, or whatever, it is totally up to them. Even if they play with my body, ridicule me, put me down, or make fun of me, whatever they do, since I have given this body to them, what is the point of retaliating? Let this body only do actions that cause no harm to others, and whoever looks at or thinks of me may never be meaningless for them. Whoever focuses on me, whether with anger or devotion, by that always is a cause for them to achieve every success. May all who say unpleasant things, harm, mock, or make fun of me have the fortune to achieve enlightenment. May I become a guide for those who are guideless, a leader for those who are entering the path, a ship, a boat, and a bridge for all who wish to cross over water. May I become a beautiful garden for those who seek one, a light for those who look for light, bedding for those who wish to rest, and a servant for all who want me as their servant. Like a wish-granting jewel, a wish-fulfilling vase, powerful mantra, great medicine, and a wish-granting tree, may I fulfill all the wishes of sentient beings. Just like the sky and the great elements, earth, water, fire, and wind, may I always be the means of living and the cause of happiness for sentient beings equaling the limitless sky. As long as space exists, as long as sentient beings exist, may I too abide and eliminate the suffering of sentient beings. This last stanza, as long as space exists, it's a dedication that His Holiness really like to do a lot. Very beautiful prayer. So, and this verse, if in case it's a bit too long, to do everything every morning. Some morning, if we don't have much time, we can do the last two stanza of this prayer from just like the sky and the great elements and so on. So we can adapt these practices. We don't feel like you need to have 1 hour to do everything perfectly. It's about our mind. So if we have less time, or we want to have time to do other kind of practices, then we can we can adapt and do what works for us. And yes, I'm going to put in the chat the links and the PDF of this prayer. Okay. So I put the first link. It's a link to the book in PDF, and this prayer it's on page 25. And then second link, it's the method to transform a suffering life into happiness. So, and last thing we saw last week, I gave a little introduction about the Bodhichitta mindfulness practices, and they are on page 203 of the book. So if you know the book now, it's out of print. So, but there is a PDF online, and it's also available as an ebook if you prefer ebook. Anyway, it's called Bodhichitta Mindfulness Practices, and it's on page 203. So we saw, I just gave you 3 of these practices. What to think when we walk, we go for a walk. When we wash ourselves, or we wash the dishes. And when we are going down, like we take stairs going down, or take elevator going down. So these 3 things, the morning motivation, so in the morning motivation we have the Bodhisattva attitude motivation, and we have the method. And in the method, we have Shantideva verses that we just did together. And then, so these 2 we do in the morning, and after during the day, the idea of the Bodhichitta mindfulness practices is that it becomes like a habit. Each time we go for a walk, each time we start walking, or each time we start washing something, we remember this thoughts, this bodhicitta thought, and so it's going to make our bodhicitta motivation that we have generated in the morning, is going to make it stronger and stronger. It's like a muscle. We train. If you want to develop a muscle, we have to every day to work a little bit to develop this muscle. So it's the same idea with the mind. We have to work a little bit every day to train, to make it stronger, this mind of bodhicitta. So I'll be very happy to hear from you, if you have tried to do these practices during the week, and if you have questions or feedback, I'd be very happy to hear from you. Have you tried a little bit or no?
Hi, Venerable. Yes, trying. I did want to say that I find the way you say, encourage us to see things as samsaric happiness versus Dharma happiness. I find that really helpful. So thank you for that. It's a good reminder to kind of put, the daily experiences into a little basket and kind of check up what they really are, where my motivation is. So slowly trying. That's it.
Thank you very much. Samsaric happiness, Dharma happiness, it comes from Rinpoche. It's really, we have to thank Rinpoche.
Yes, thanks for the reminder. Go ahead, Garcia.
You can speak.
Can you hear me? Yes.
You might have to speak up.
Yeah. Can you? Okay. You had said that we have the power to change our lives, and yeah, and that so we can change our karma with our actions. Is that correct? Can you say a little more about that?
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So one thing is the karma, the action we did in the past. So it's done. we already created all these actions, and now we reflect on what we did in the past. And if we see, oh, I did that, I hurt this person, or I did that, it was actually very negative for me, for other people to have done that. What we can do if we realize we created negative actions in the past, we can purify them. So there are different methods to purify our past negative actions. So the main thing, it's called the 4R. And the first R is refuge. So first, we generate refuge and bodhicitta. And then second R is we regret. Now we reflect back and we say, oh, I did that. It was, it's like if we drank poison, like we drank, we ate some mushroom, and our friend told us, oh, but these mushrooms are very bad. She, oh no, what have I done? I have to find a solution. So we regret what we did. Second R, regret. And third, it's called remedy. So we have to take, like a medicine to make this poison not able to ripen. So we need a remedy. The remedy really can be any positive thing we do with this motivation to use it as a remedy, or it can be like more formal Buddhist practices, like reciting Vajrasattva mantra, or reciting the names of the 35 Buddhas of confession. It can be meditating, on bodhicitta, meditating on emptiness, and really can be any positive thing we do with this motivation that it's our remedy. And after the last R, it's called resolution. So resolution, it's a promise, we say, a commitment. We imagine we take this commitment in front of the Buddhas, and we say, okay, from now on, I'm not going to engage again in this and that action. So of course, depending on the action, perhaps it's not possible to say, okay, from now on, I will never, ever again in my life do it, because perhaps our habit is so strong, it will be very not true. We cannot keep this commitment for now. So what we do, we say, okay, for the next hour or the next day, for 24 hours, I will not do such and such action. And like that, so if we do like that, we purify this past negative karma. And if we purify it, it will not create suffering. It will not bear fruit of suffering. They say in the text, it's like if we had seeds, we put the seeds in the earth, and if we burn the field, then the seeds, they will not ripen, they will not bear fruit. It's not possible. So it's for first part of your question. It's what we did already in the past. We have this method to purify. And after, of course, what we do now and what we will do in the future, then we have complete control of what we do from today and what we will do in the future.
Yes, thank you very much. Very, very, very helpful. Very helpful. Thank you.
Is there any other question about what we saw so far? If you want to share anything? And just if you want to say it's too difficult, it's okay. Just you can share anything. It's just between us. Don't feel shy. If you have, for people that are online, you can put what you want in the chat as well. Yes, John, I think to ask a question.
Yeah, it's Graciela. Have you found that the best time to purify, to do the 4 hours is in the evening? Have you? No, I don't know.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, but I'm not sure I heard everything. You said for you it's better in the evening?
Yeah, is it?
Correct?
Yes.
You mean for you it's easier to have time for meditation in the evening?
No. To do the purification in the evening. Is it? Have you found that that's a better time, or do you recommend to just do it in the morning?
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yes. So actually, it's you're completely right. It's a practice that is usually done in the evening. In the all the meditators in the past, it's a practice that they usually do in the evening. Why? Because of course in the morning we generate a positive motivation, but of course we are not perfect. We still have delusions in our mind stream. So we have anger, attachment, and so on. So of course, even if we start in the morning with our best motivation, usually during the day, we will create some negative action by speech, with our speech, with our body, of course, with our mind. So of course, what is very good to do is each evening we do a purification practice. And we reflect back on what we did during the day, and we see, oh, I did this and that, and I said that to this person, and so on, and we purify these actions every evening. So this way, it's Because the thing with karma, karma, it multiplies, it increases every day. So if we don't like purify every evening, it's going to make our negative karma very, very strong, very, very big, very quickly. So that is one thing. And another thing is, I think it really helps to have like a peaceful sleep if we know we did our best to purify our mind. So after we do the practice, the purification practice, and we feel really we feel light, we feel relaxed because we feel, oh, okay, I was not perfect during the day, but I did the purification practice. So at least I did my best. And tomorrow I will try to do better. But for today, I can rest, I can go to sleep and not have this negativities like a waiting on us and this perhaps disturbing our sleep or wake up during the night and I did this, I did that. No, because we already did the purification before. Does it answer your question?
Yes. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
Thank you.
So I think Arpita, do you have a question?
Yeah, I do have a quick question. My question is, how do you communicate in a kind manner to your children when you know that they are doing something that's on the wrong path? How do you stay kind? I sometimes come out as very direct, and that's not, I feel like I am not very kind when I'm saying the truth. So how do you say, like, how do you do this with kindness?
Right. Thank you. Now, for me, it's easy. I don't have children, so I don't have this kind of troubles. I'm joking, but of course, the thing is, you need to give rules, to give a framework to your children. You're responsible to give them this kind of framework so they can develop as good human beings. The thing is, from your side, you do it with a good motivation, and you don't. And sometimes, as a mom, you have to raise your voice. You have to be, very like worthful, very strong. Otherwise, if you are just, oh, please don't do that, they don't listen. So sometimes you have to be very strong, but you do it with really good motivation from your side. And even if you have to be like manifest, like a very an appearance that is very strong, and you have to raise your voice and to be very kind of strict, inside you are not angry, just you do that because at some point you already say to your child like 2 times same thing, doesn't listen, so you have to be a bit more worthful if you want it to be effective. So you do like that. And it's like the Buddhas, some aspect of the Buddhas, they are called worthful. So they're like they're surrounded by fire, and they look angry, they look like, oh, I'm a bit afraid. But because ourselves, it's the same. Sometimes we need an aspect very kind and very gentle, but sometimes we need more worthful aspect to when we are like, of course it depends. Some persons it only gentle, they cannot, worthful is not good for them, and some person just being gentle, it will not work. You have to be more worthful. So it's a bit the same for us when we are adults. Is it helpful, Arpita?
Yes, yes, definitely very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Venerable Detchen, we have another question in the Gampa from Graciela.
Yes. So let us say that you respond to your children or with an attitude that you're not happy about, that you recognize, oh, I'm harsher than I could be. What can you do to remedy to your children in that moment? What can you do? Or yes, that's my question.
Yeah, so yeah, it's very interesting. So now what happened is actually you get angry. Yes, you reacted with anger toward your children, your child. I think, you know, I think the best is to talk to your child. Like if you have some time, you know, like in the evening before, you know, you put them to bed, before they go to bed. I think if you can have some time to speak with your child, no, and if you have if you were angry during the day, you can apologize. You know, children, I think they understand, and it will create a relation of trust between you and your child. And I heard, you know, from a friend, she asked your child in the evening when he goes to bed, she asked him if she could have done something better during the day. And I think, you know, most of us, we were not raised this way, with parents asking us if they could have done something better. But I thought about it and I found it very interesting. And it's really creating a beautiful relation with your son. So, you know, perhaps you can explore that. What do you think?
Very helpful. I never heard before that um, anger breaks the trust. I never heard that before. I find that very helpful to because I can feel it within myself too. I find it really helpful. So thank you for that.
Thank you. All right. So, and I think, John, did you raise your hand at some point? I saw a little hand on Zoom, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I had a question for the prayer that you read about if people abuse you, you give your body away. I guess what I get confused with is that doesn't sound like you would want not only that to happen to yourself, but you wouldn't want other people to create that type of negative action either. So why would you wish for that, I guess?
Well, yeah, thank you, John. No, it's you know, this prayer it's really a bodhisattva prayer. So for us, a lot of things in this prayer is completely it's a radical change of our usual way of thinking. So it's really written from a bodhisattva point of view, and actually, you know, we don't pray for people to hurt us. We say, okay, in case it happens, because we don't know what will happen during the day, it's possible that someone is going to hurt us. If it happens, then may the person doesn't suffer from this action. And actually, the Bodhisattva, what he does is he is praying for, due to this connection, even if it was like a negative connection, due to this connection, may be of benefit for this person. Actually, there is a story no, of a Bodhisattva. So this Bodhisattva, I don't remember his name, but he was, he was in a village, like giving teachings, and everybody came and had a good relationship with him. So he was very happy. But there was one person, I think one lady, she didn't come to the teaching. They never met. So he was not able to create a connection with this person. So what he did, he went to her house, and he started to like cut the flowers in her garden, like beautiful flowers. He started to cut everything. So of course the lady, she came out of the house and she was, "What are you doing? It's my garden. What are you doing?" So she get angry with him. And actually the Bodhisattva, he did it on purpose, of course. Why? Because even for this person to get angry at him, this created a connection between him and this lady, and for him it's positive because it means in the future he will be able to help this person due to this connection. So for for a bodhisattva, it's like any connection is going to be able to use this connection to benefit the person in the future.
Thank you. That was helpful.
Yeah, thank you. All right. So what we can do now, we can do, I think, a meditation on karma to explore a little bit more about karma. So again, we can take, perhaps we make our back a little bit straighter, but we don't create pain or tension in the body. So in this meditation, we are going to explore our mind, our karma, all the actions we did in the past. They are they are with us. They are still with us. Whether they are positive or negative. For the negative actions, if we did not purify them, they are still with us. So we are going to, my invitation is to imagine that our mind, and especially our karma, it takes the shape of a landscape. It takes the shape of a park, of a garden. So we imagine Now, if our mind will take a physical shape, the shape of a garden, how will it be? So first, we look at positive qualities, and these qualities they created a lot of positive karma in the past, and we imagine how the positive karma manifests in our garden. Does it take the shape of beautiful trees, beautiful flowers, beautiful plants like medicinal plants and so on? So what is the shape of positive karma takes in our garden? What are the colors? What are the shapes of the trees, flowers, and so on? We all have good qualities. We all have some degree of love, some degree of patience, some degree of wisdom, some degree of joy. And all these positive attitudes they help us create positive karma in the past. So all of this karma now manifest in our garden. So of course, we can think of beautiful trees producing flowers, producing fruits, and ourselves and other people, friends, family, they can enjoy these flowers, these fruits. To create joy. All this positive karma creates joy for us and for the people around us. Birds are coming in the garden to enjoy the trees, the flowers. Butterflies are coming, bees are coming, children are coming, playing, adults are coming, enjoying good time. So we rejoice. We think how wonderful it is that due to my positive attitudes, I was able to create so many beautiful things. How wonderful. And may I continue to create positive seeds. And then we think about, our not so positive attitudes like anger, jealousy, lack of patience, attachment. And we look again at the garden of our mind to see if there is not like a part of the garden that is dark, that is not so beautiful. Perhaps it's a part of the garden we never go in. We avoid to look at it. We don't want to see this part of the garden. It makes us sad or afraid. We don't even want to look at this part of the garden because actually we don't even know what to do with this part of the garden. Perhaps it's a part of the garden that manifests as like garbage we put in this corner of the garden, and it's full of like thorns and things that are not very beautiful. Doesn't smell very nice. So what are these attitudes that are not so positive in our mind and that create all this garbage in our garden? Is it anger? Is it attachment? What are these negative habits we have that come again and again in our life and that are pushing us to create negative karma, to hurt our friends, our colleagues, our family with our negative actions of body, speech, or mind? So and now we think, okay, so I have this negative habit in my mind. I don't like the result. The result is it's really not beautiful. I would much prefer to have flowers, beautiful trees with fruits. So what can I do to change this habit, to transform it into something positive? What can I do to remove this garbage, to clean this corner of my mental garden? So we saw we have the purification method that we can use to clean this dark corner. So we can think, okay, so I will do this. I will engage in this purification. I want to clean my mind. I don't want to keep, to still have on my mind stream all these things that really are going to bring suffering for myself and for others. are just going to bring suffering. So I want to get rid of them. So we think, okay, from now on, I'm going to take good care of my mental garden, my mental landscape, and I'm not going to allow this negative karma, these negative attitudes to control my mind. I will engage in purification practice to clean my mind. And as much as possible, I will work on my mind to change my negative habits, to transform them into positive habits. And of course, it's like for the garden, we need to do it a little bit every day. Otherwise, the negative like the weeds and so on, they will start growing again very quickly. So every day, I reflect on what I did during the day and clean my mind with a purification practice, with the four opponents' powers. And as much as possible, I will try to engage in the positive habits I have in my mind and to make the positive habits stronger and stronger. So we can dedicate this meditation and the time we had together by imagining that our mind, so it becomes only a most beautiful garden full of beautiful flowers, flowers of love, compassion, wisdom, skillful means, joy, patience, generosity. Ethics, and think of all the good qualities you want in your life. And each quality takes the shape of a different flower. And it's not just one flower, but it's a limitless number of flowers going in all the directions. So may our mind become like a beautiful garden, only filled with these beautiful flowers of our qualities. So all beings that come in contact with us are going to benefit from these flowers. They are going to bring each friend, family member, each colleague, neighbor, each person we don't know that we meet in supermarkets and so on, all beings are going to benefit because we are working on our mind. So, and together, so we can do the dedication prayer. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, I quickly gain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all living beings without exception into that enlightened state. May the supreme jewel, Bodhichitta, that has not arisen, arise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish, but increase more and more. And we do the long life prayers for His Holiness Dalai Lama and Venerable Rinpoche. So when we do long life prayer, we think, we do these prayers to remove all the obstacles actually we have ourselves in our own mind, for this precious teacher to still be here with us, to continue to be here with us during a very, very long time. So this way we create the cause to be able to again and again meet them and receive their precious teachings. The wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, the incomparably kind, supreme Tenzin Gyatso, may you have a long life and all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. Tum sum jong jin jang ge ge jin kyung pe wi gu sun do pu zang po zin chong sum ku wei le mu Dang sun du ji yun du shan de shu. And we can do the last stanza of Shantideva. As long as space exists, as long as sentient beings exist, may I too abide and eliminate the suffering of sentient beings. All right. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Venerable Detchen.
Thank you very much, Venerable Detchen.
Thank you, Venerable.
Thank you, Venerable.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good
See
day.
you next Sunday. Yeah, you too. Thank you.